For me, this was a money thing. I was just like, what? No ways. It can never be me. It can never be me spending so much money. Hi team, welcome back to another video and thank you so much for joining me yet again. If it is your first time here, and on this channel we chat about all things related to managing your money and adulting in general. So if that sounds like your type of conversation, please make sure that you check out our other videos, and if you like what you see, don't hesitate to smash the subscribe button so you can become a member of the team. Guys, I am so excited about today's topic, right? Because, okay, tell me if it's only me, but you know when you have conversations around certain topics and then there's areas that you intentionally leave out because you're like, you know what, I am still struggling with this specific area. So whomst am I to start a conversation about tackling that area? So I have spoken about, how much money can be wasted on eating takeaways and stuff like that. But I have hesitated to have an entire video dedicated to that, even though I continue to see the impact that it has on our finances. And that's because I myself have been struggling with this, right? So I wanted to tackle it first and apply some methods that I think work. And only when it works, come back and be like, okay, we can solve this one as well. And that's why we are here. So I am super excited to share with you how you can finally get rid of that bad financial habit, which is continuously spending money on takeaways, when you realize how much money actually goes into that. Now, like most videos, there's always context for a conversation. In the beginning of the year, I attended a vision board branch, and one of the things that I spoke about, or that I really drilled into, was the importance of us focusing on our bad financial habits this year and making sure that we completely erase the bad financial habits that we have. I even went as far as saying that, our bad financial habits are actually going to eat our financial goals for breakfast, right? Let me re-emphasize that. I mentioned that our bad financial habits are actually going to eat our financial goals this year for breakfast, because if we continue to do the small bad things that take us a step back halfway through the year, and by the end of the year you will realize that you actually haven't had enough money to focus on the things that you truly want to do because you've been spending money on your bad habits. So that's the context for today's conversation and why this was so important to me. Now, I want to kickstart by saying that, firstly, if you are watching this video and you're thinking, oh, you know what, Andy, so I'm going to give this one a skip because I don't spend that much money on takeaways. I do buy takeaways now and again, but it's not that much money and I don't think that it's worrying. Please go to your banking app and search, whatever takeaway apps that you do use, and actually tally how much you spent in the previous month, and then come back to this video, because you'll realize that you actually ended up spending a significant amount of money. And that's what I did last year, guys. I was like, okay, let me look at where I can find, pockets in my budget where I can release some money, because you guys know that I've got big goals this year that I want to complete before the end of the year. So I did that, and one of the things that I noticed in my transactions were takeaways. I was like, oh my God, I knew that I was buying takeaways, but I didn't realize that it had accumulated to this point. So please do the same exercise. And then after you tally for the month, you can then decide if you think that this video is for you or not. But what I've noticed is that we really, really tend to understate the amount of money that we spend on takeaways, and we don't really take time to tally up the numbers and realize how much money we are actually spending. Okay, so how did I do it? How did I stop spending money on takeaways so I could save towards the things that I want? Now, I said in the title of this topic that this topic is featuring Atomic Habits. I'm not telling you to go and read the book, but I will say that the book is absolutely amazing. A real game changer for me. It's one of the books that I made sure that I read when I picked up reading again last year, and I have never looked back, guys. I applied most of the things in that book in my everyday life, and it's really helped me become more productive. Now, this is not an ad, this is just simply me being honest. And what I've done is that I took 5 steps from the book that I am going to rephrase and interpret in my own way, that I applied in getting rid of this habit. Because in as much as the author focuses a lot on building good habits, he also touches on the importance of breaking bad habits as well. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect opportunity to use what I've learned here and apply it to the takeaway, scenario, and me trying to stop that. Okay, so here are the 5 things that I did. The first thing I did was I identified my triggers and my cues. Now, triggers and cues are explained in the book as the things that lead to us basically doing that bad habit that we want to stop. And he says that, you know what? It's very important for you to understand why you do certain things before you try and stop that thing that you do. So, for example, you're trying to stop buying takeaways, but we focus so much on just stopping the takeaways that we don't give enough attention to what is the trigger before you buying takeaways and what leads you there. And then if you can work at solving for those triggers, naturally the bad habit will fall away. So what I did, number 1, was I started to identify what are my cues and triggers. What are the things that result or cause me to start buying takeaways when I do? I'm going to give you some examples because I want you to apply this in your own scenario as well. The first thing that I noticed was a trigger for me was time. Okay. I get home from work very, very late. I don't, work till office hours and go home. More often than not, I go way beyond the 5 o'clock, 5:30 mark, and I end up leaving the office at like 6:30 or closer to 7. So, which means that I don't really have enough time to prepare a meal. All right, so time was a big factor for me, and often I would like at 7 o'clock decide that, you know what, I want to make dinner, and by then I'm deciding what I'm going to make, and then next thing you know, it's almost 8 o'clock, then I realize that I don't have the ingredients and blah, 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 and then I'll run out of time, and I normally resort to getting a takeaway, which is much more quicker because we do have to eat. The second thing that was a trigger for me that I identified was the fact that I really spend a lot of time trying to think about what I'm going to eat, right? What is it that I'm going to make? And actually, I discovered that I spent more time trying to figure out what I'm going to cook than actually cooking it, right? Because I'd scramble for, okay, but what do I have in the pantry? What do I have in the fridge? What can I make? What did we have yesterday? Blah, 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 blah. And so it's lack of planning. Like I didn't have a plan, and that was the second trigger. And when I didn't have a plan, by the time I figured it out, I had run out of time, so I would resort to the easiest option. That was my second trigger. Then my third trigger was my husband, right? Because I would often ask him in the midst of me thinking, babe, what do you think I should make for dinner? And then his answer is always like, why do you want to cook? Don't worry yourself. We can grab something on the way. Why are you stressing? We're both tired. We've had long days, blah, 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 blah. And I'd end up being like, you're right. I do work hard. I should choose the easy way out. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate with this. I should choose the easy way out and just buy a takeaway. So that was my third trigger. So I identified my triggers, and that's the first step that you need to do. What are some of yours? Maybe you share some of mine as well, but what are some of the things that lead to you buying takeaways when you have to buy takeaways? For me, those were the 3 things that came out at the top. The second thing is, once I had identified what my triggers were, I now needed to remove them, right? So step number 2 is make your triggers disappear. Completely remove them. And what I did was, from the last one, I stopped asking, hubby, what I should make for dinner. I rather decided on my own. And when I didn't have a plan, I thought about it, but I didn't resort to asking him. That really helped a lot. The second thing was I had to solve for the time factor, right? And I decided that every second day of the week, I will leave the office at the end of the work day. I won't stay later, and I'll just stay much later to make up for the work that I have to do on the alternative days. So every second day, I know that if I'm cooking, then I need to leave the office at a specific time so that I'm not under pressure like I usually am. Then the last thing was the lack of a plan, right? That's the trigger we were trying to solve for. I now, guys, this was also game changing. I now meal plan. I plan on Sunday morning, I start thinking about what would I like to eat during the week and what would I like to carry for lunch, because guess what? Mogel is not in the cafeterias anymore. I'm not buying food from the caf. I'm carrying my own lunch, right? And this is how like good these steps are, guys. I even stopped buying lunch from the cafe. I now carry my own lunch. So I plan what I'm going to carry for lunch during the week, as well as what I'm going to cook for dinner during the week. And then once I have that plan, I write down all of the things that I don't have that I need to buy. And then on Sunday, it's now become a part of our routine that on Sunday towards the evening, we go out and we grab the things that we need for the week. That's how I completely removed all of the triggers that were causing me to start buying takeaways. That's step number 2. Then step number 3 is you have to make it rewarding. This is super important. The reason why we tend to do certain things and not do certain things is because we feel like, what's the reward? Like, what do I get for it? I'm making my life more difficult. I'm spending more time on this thing. What am I going to get for it? So you need to make sure that you make it rewarding. And in the book, they also speak about how, as primary school kids and secondary school kids, actually, even at work, we constantly seek recognition and we constantly seek to be rewarded for the things that we do. And when we don't get like a pat on the back or a prize or performance bonus or all of those things, we kind of feel discouraged, right? So you can use that method when it comes to kicking a bad habit as well. So I said to myself, okay, Andiswa, if you stick it out during the week and you don't go to the cafe and you don't buy takeaways the entire week, what is your reward at the end of every week? And the more rewards you can give yourself, like small rewards, more frequently, the better. So it also doesn't feel like a drag up until the time that you get your reward. So every single Saturday, I have a takeaway day, right? On Saturdays, I don't cook. We buy something that we're gonna have. So it's either I buy, sushi from my favorite place, or we get something nice from Woolies that we've been wanting to try. Those oven type of meals, we get that, or we get whatever that is not home cooked or prepared, or on the random Saturday we'll even go out, right? That is what I look forward to on a Saturday. So from Monday to Friday, I know that I need to stay disciplined, because on Saturday, I get to have a treat and I get to have something that I really, really like. And I look forward to that. So you need to make it rewarding. What else can you think about to reward yourself that you enjoy? We're all different, right? So your reward needs to make sense to you. The second thing that I do now is every second month, I buy myself something really nice for my home that I want to have to make my life easier. And for example, I got myself an air fryer. Guys, I used money that I saved from buying takeaways to buy myself an air fryer, which makes my journey of meal prepping and making meals at home even easier and more fun. And at the end of this month, I'm also going to buy myself a washing machine, which is also going to make my life easier. And I've been using money that I'm saving from dining out and takeaways to actually save for this stuff. So how amazing is that I'm going to get things that I've been wanting, that are a bit on the pricey side, and I am going to get them with the money that I've saved from the bad financial habit that I got rid of. Absolutely love how all of this has a ripple effect on different areas in my finances. Anyway, I don't want to digress too much. Third step is make it rewarding and give yourself rewards for the journey, right? And those were my rewards. Step number 4 that you need to do is that you need to create barriers between you and the takeaways. Now, because they have made this so easy, like it's so easy to get takeaways at the snap of your fingers, the only thing that I could think of from creating barriers was that I went to my takeaway apps, I removed my details in the sense of my bank account, and then I deleted the apps completely. I went to the emails and I unsubscribed, right? So I don't get those email prompts about, Andy, so where are you? We'll give you 20% off if you come back and order from us and all of that stuff. I didn't want to have that. So I unsubscribed and I also deleted the apps. That's how I created the barriers. And I know you must be thinking, oh, Andy, so I've deleted the app like many times. It hasn't helped me. Guys, there's also a discipline factor as well. Like these steps need to work alongside your discipline, because I can't do it all for you. And, you can't create like an ultimate amount of barriers. You also need to have some sense of discipline. But that really helped me, because now, even if I wanted to get, tempted, in the beginning, I did in the first like 2 weeks or so. But I now have to fetch my bank card, which is not in the wallet that I carry all the time. And I need to download the app and all of that stuff. So it really does help. So you need to make it difficult for you to access takeaways. And then you also need to make the alternatives easier, right? That's super, super important, and something they discuss in the book as well, is that the reason why we continue to have the bad financial habits that we do is because they're so easy. They've been like, they make it so seamless for us to just order and it arrives at your door. You don't have to put much effort. They show you menu, your previous history, and all of that stuff. So it's your responsibility to make sure that your meal prepping journey is also like very, very easy, or as easy as can be. So some of the ways that I've made, the alternative, which is prepping meals at home and prepping my lunch at home, easy, is that number one, like I told you, I plan my meals, I know what I'm going to make. And I also make sure that I choose easy meals, like quick meals, like your pasta and mince, your, potato wedges, and like grilled chicken that I can put in the air fryer, and all of those things. They make it easier for me to prepare meals at home. And obviously, like, there's still amount of time spent, but it does make it easier. The third thing is I prepare in advance whatever I can. So, for example, I defrost my chicken before I leave for work. And if there's anything that I can prepare in advance, I do that when I find a bit of time the previous evening, just to make it easier on myself. And when you get there and the chicken is in the sink, I mean, the chances of you not making it becomes slimmer, right? Because you've already put the effort in prepping. So I do that to make my life easier. And what I'm doing now, like I mentioned before, is that I'm saving towards appliances that will also make my life easier. So I've got the air fryer now. I'm getting the dishwasher very soon. So that means that cleaning up after myself, after cooking, is also going to become easier. And I'm also like searching for easier and quick recipes that we enjoy that will also make it easier for me to prep. So those are some of the things that you can do. When it comes to my lunch, I do like very, very easy meals. I make like cheese and toast sandwiches, burgers, 2-minute noodles, which I didn't like initially, but because of the convenience, I've gotten myself to actually enjoy them. And it's such a nice solve for lunch, because I just put it in my bowl, pop it in the microwave at work, and Bob's your uncle. So those are some of the ways that I've made it easier to do that. And then what else have I tried that I can recommend? Okay, please let me know in the comment section if you are on this journey of carrying your own lunch and not spending on takeaways and dining out a lot. What are some of the ways that you've made your journey easier? Maybe we can share a couple of options with each other, and we can try different things, right? Because I'm sure there's many, 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 many more ways that you can make this journey more exciting. And then step number 5, what is the last thing that I think you can do in order to stop spending money on takeaways? The last thing you can do is you can find an accountability partner, which is something they also touch in the book. Super, super, super important. You guys know on this channel that my biggest accountability partner is Mr. M, okay? That guy will basically make you feel so bad for not doing the things that you said you're not going to do, that you end up doing them because you're like, oh my God, I don't want to explain myself. I don't want to be laughed at and all of that stuff. And I've really used that to my advantage. So it's in our human nature that we don't like disappointing other people. And, we wouldn't even mind disappointing ourselves, but we don't want to let other people down, or we don't want to embarrass ourselves. Use that to your advantage. Find a partner for your takeaway journey, So one of the things I did this year was obviously speak about my goals, which are on that board. And I also spoke about the fact that I'm not buying lunch at work anymore, and I'm not buying takeaways. And I said that out loud to anybody who cared to listen. So every time I interact with the people around me, they know that I'm on this journey. And it's kind of like, okay, I can't not cook, because my friend is going to be like, how? What happened, girl? Or my husband's going to be like, and then what's going on? So far as to say, I even told my team at the office, I make fun of them from about buying from the cafe. I'm like, oh guys, those who are able to spend 40-50 rand a day on lunch at the office every single day must be nice. And the reason I do that is because, one, I'm trying to motivate them to also stop, but also, most importantly, I'm keeping myself accountable, because if I keep telling other people that they shouldn't be doing something, I can't now be caught in the cafeteria line. I'm not that person. So that's really helped me a lot as well, guys. And like I said in the beginning, please try and apply these 5 steps, especially if you are spending a considerable amount of money on these things. I couldn't believe that, in the first 6 weeks that I saved money from, takeaways and stuff like that, I got to buy myself an air fryer with the same amount. And now I'm working towards bigger things, and I'm obviously going to put money away for other goals that I have. It is a significant amount of money, and I seriously don't think we realize just how much until we do the audit on our individual finances and realize how much we are spending. So those are the 5 things that I've been doing to stay, takeaway free. I think it's been over 2 months now. And obviously the other positive outcomes from that is the fact that I've also lost a bit of weight as well, because I'm eating cleaner and healthier since I prep my own food. But this was not a health journey for me, guys. That is for another day. For me, this was a money thing. I was just like, what? No ways. It can never be me. It can never be me spending so much money at like drive-throughs and stuff like that. So if you feel the same, I really hope that you apply steps 1 to 5 that I've shared in order to also quit the takeaway thing and quit the buying lunch every single day if it's going to help you save money towards your goals. If you enjoyed this video, guys, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up and let me know in the comment section, what are you trying? What are you going to try? Which of the steps did you enjoy the most? So we can honestly learn from each other, because I feel like there's no better learning than actually learning from other people's personal experiences, which is why I am sharing mine. That's it for today's video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it and you found it valuable as always. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.